It's 2 in the morning. The kitchen light is off. She's sitting on the floor, back against the cabinet, knees pulled up, not crying, just empty. The kind of empty that doesn't have a name. She hasn't told anyone. Not her sister, not her doctor, not the people who text her, "How are you?" and already assume the answer is fine. Then she hears the soft click of paws on tile. He walks in slowly, doesn't bark, doesn't bring a toy, doesn't need anything. He just looks at her, really looks, and then lowers himself down and rests his head on her lap. She didn't call him. She didn't make a sound. He just came. And here's what she couldn't stop thinking about afterward. How did he know? Does your dog know when you're dying inside? Most of us grew up with a comfortable explanation for what dogs are. Sweet, loyal, loving in that uncomplicated, tail-wagging way that makes life softer. But at the end of the day, they're animals. They come to us for food, for walks, for routine. They don't understand our inner world. They can't read our feelings. They're not wired for that. That's what most people believe. And honestly, for a long time, science agreed. But then the research started coming in, and it changed everything. Not long ago, researchers at the University of Bristol and Queen's University Belfast ran a study that most dog owners have never heard of and probably should. They collected breath and sweat samples from people in 2 states, calm and stressed. Then they let dogs smell those samples without any other cues, no facial expressions, no body language, nothing, just the scent. The dogs identified the stress samples with nearly 94% accuracy. Let that sit for a moment. Before your face shows anything, before your voice changes, before you even consciously register that something is wrong, your dog has already picked up the shift in your body chemistry. They can smell cortisol. They can smell adrenaline, the invisible hormonal storm that brews inside you when life becomes too much. Your dog detects it the way you detect smoke. And it doesn't stop there. Researchers in Budapest tracked the cortisol levels of dogs and their owners over months, not in a lab, but in real life. They found something remarkable. The stress hormone levels in dogs and their owners began to mirror each other over time. Not just in moments of acute stress, but as a pattern, as a baseline. Your dog's nervous system, in a very real biological sense, starts to track yours. Then there's the heartbeat. When owners and dogs are simply together, sitting quietly, existing in the same space, their heart rates begin to synchronize. 2 bodies, 2 species, 1 rhythm. So your dog can smell your pain. Their stress levels move with yours. Their heartbeat adjusts to follow yours. Which raises a question that's harder to answer and far more interesting. Does that mean your dog actually feels what you feel? Or are they just reacting a biological alarm system going off in response to your chemistry with nothing deeper behind it? Robert was 58 when his wife of 31 years died. The house went quiet in a way he hadn't anticipated. Not just the absence of her voice, the absence of a whole world that had organized itself around 2 people. Friends called the first week, then the second week, less. By the 3rd week, mostly silence. His kids had their own grief, their own lives, their own children to get back to. He didn't tell anyone how dark it got. That was never his style. He functioned. He made coffee. He fed Max. He went through the motions of a life that felt like it belonged to someone else. But every night, without fail, Max left his dog bed in the hallway and walked to Robert's bedroom. And he pressed himself against Robert's legs and stayed there until morning. Robert never asked him to. He never patted the bed, never called his name. Max just came. Robert told his daughter later quietly, like he was sharing something almost too private to say out loud. Max knew before I did how bad it was. Was that just routine? Was Max following some behavioral pattern worn smooth by years of habit? Or was something else happening inside that dog's brain, something that looked from the outside a lot like love? Here's what the science found when it went looking for the answer. In 2015, a researcher named Miho Nagasawa published a study in the journal Science that startled the scientific community. When dogs and their owners made eye contact, Both experienced a measurable rise in oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same chemical released between a mother and her newborn child, not just in the human, in both of them. The dog's brain responded to the connection the same way ours does. But here's the part that changes everything. A neuroscientist named Gregory Burns spent years at Emory University doing something no one had done before. He trained dogs to lie still inside MRI machines and scan their brains while they were fully awake and conscious. What he found dismantled a lot of assumptions. Dogs have a limbic system, the same brain structures that process emotion in humans: fear, joy, grief, attachment. These aren't metaphors when we apply them to dogs. They're neurological realities. Your dog doesn't just behave like they're feeling something. According to the architecture of their brain, they are. And when researchers in Milan began studying what happens to dogs when their owners are grieving, not just stressed, but deep in loss, the dogs changed. They became less playful, more watchful, more physically close. They showed what the researchers called emotional contagion. Not sympathy in the human sense, something more primal, something wired in. So your dog has the emotional brain structures to feel. They can smell your pain before you've named it. They bond with you on a hormonal level that runs deeper than training or habit. Which brings us to the real question, the one this whole video has been building toward. When you are truly falling apart inside, when you're not okay and the whole world is going on around you as if nothing is wrong, when you are holding it together on the outside while something quietly breaks on the inside, what is your dog actually experiencing in that moment, and why do they do what they do? Here's something psychologists have understood for a long time. Human beings are extraordinary at masking pain. We learn it young. We smile when we're not okay. We say, "I'm fine," in a tone that ends conversations. We go to work. We answer emails. We show up to things and perform a version of ourselves that the world finds acceptable. We are, in many ways, built for concealment. But the body doesn't lie. When you are struggling, really struggling, your cortisol rises, your breathing shifts, your voice drops half a register without you noticing, your heart rate changes. The scent of your sweat changes at a chemical level. You are broadcasting in every biological direction what your face is working so hard to hide. Your dog receives every single signal, all at once, without filter. And unlike the people in your life who need you to explain, who need you to say the words, who sometimes need you to not be too much, your dog doesn't ask you to translate, doesn't need you to be strong, doesn't look uncomfortable when your pain is too big for easy conversation. They just come closer and stay. So, does your dog know when you're dying inside? Yes. And the answer is more precise than most of us ever imagined. They smell the change in your body chemistry before your expression gives anything away. Their brain, built with the same emotional architecture as yours, registers your distress and moves toward you, not away. Their heartbeat finds yours and starts to follow it. Their cortisol rises in response to your cortisol. They are, in the most literal biological sense, feeling something because you are feeling it, not thinking about it, not deciding to respond. Feeling it in their nervous system, in their hormones, in the oldest, deepest part of their brain. They come to you in your worst moments, not because you trained them to, not because it's dinner time, not because they want something, but because every signal their body receives is telling them the same thing. The person I am most connected to in this world is hurting, and I need to be there. They have been doing this, quietly and without ceremony, for your entire time together, in every room, through every season, every time you sat alone with something you weren't ready to say. They knew. The next time your dog walks over to you for no reason, when you didn't call, when you didn't move, when you were just sitting there somewhere between fine and not fine, remember what you now know. It wasn't random. In a world that moves fast and asks little and notices even less, your dog noticed every single time. Without needing you to ask, without needing you to explain, without needing you to be anything other than exactly what you are in that moment. You are not as invisible as you sometimes feel. Someone has been watching over you quietly, faithfully, with every sense they have, and they have never once looked away. Has your dog ever done this for you? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. And if this made you think of someone who loves their dog and needs to hear it today, share it with them.